At least 9 people have been killed in Israeli strikes on 2 villages in southern Lebanon. It's the worst attack since a ceasefire with Hezbollah took effect last week. Both sides are supposed to withdraw from a buffer zone south of the Litani River. The Israeli army says its strikes targeted rocket launchers and terrorist infrastructure. The IDF released pictures of military chief Herzi Halevi visiting troops in southern Lebanon who vowed to retaliate against any ceasefire violations. Let's cross over to journalist Balig Sladin. He's in Tel Aviv. Balig, the ceasefire looks very shaky at this point. Give us a sense of what's happening between Israel and Hezbollah.
Yes, well, less than a week since the beginning of the ceasefire, we already see that both sides are actually either violating the agreement or at least not implementing it 100%. And yesterday, after the attack by Hezbollah, where they have fired 2 rockets toward an army base in Hardov area, the Israeli airstrike started, and apparently 9 people were killed yesterday in Lebanon. That comes as a retaliatory attack for that Hezbollah attack that they themselves said that they are retaliating after what they call Israel's violation of the ceasefire agreement. Now, from what I understand and from the Israeli perspective, we're talking about a series of Hezbollah violations, including their attempt to actually transfer weapons from Syria to Lebanon in the Hermel area, and then Israel attacked that convoy by a drone, and also a number of Hezbollah operatives that were in many cases inside the towns and villages in southern Lebanon and were attacked by the Israeli Air Force. Israel wants to make sure that it does enforce the agreement and doesn't only just sign the paper, because Israeli officials are saying that this is worthless. What it is important is actually the enforcement of the agreement, and that's what we are seeing today.
Israel says it is committed to the ceasefire deal, but its troops are still in southern Lebanon. What's Israel saying about its next steps?
Well, first of all, the Israeli troops are allowed to be inside southern Lebanon until the end of the 60 days, the first 60 days, so until the 25th of January, if I'm not mistaken. So we're talking about the continuation of the agreement, but the Israeli steps, from what we see, is that they continue actually dealing with the Hezbollah infrastructure that is in southern Lebanon. And Israeli sources are saying today and throughout this last week that the Lebanese forces are not getting into the positions of the Israeli troops as quickly as planned or as quickly as they hoped to, and that what we are expecting right now, that the Lebanese troops, the Lebanese army, of course, we're talking about, should actually get as quickly as possible into the Israeli positions, and then we will see an Israeli withdrawal from the south of Lebanon.
Now, Hezbollah, for its part, is firing rockets at northern Israel again. What does that mean for people hoping to return to their homes there?
Yes, we clearly have seen that the people of Lebanon treat the ceasefire agreement differently than the Israeli civilians, because they were willing to actually return as soon as the ceasefire agreement was announced. But the Israeli population in the north wants to see or wants to make sure that the Israeli army and, of course, the political level will actually enforce the agreement and doesn't only just sign the papers, because they're saying that for 18 years we lived in that area while Hezbollah was continuing their infrastructure building and, of course, their presence in southern Lebanon. And we don't want to actually put ourselves in danger. So as long as we see that Israel does enforce the agreement, then we will see more and more people go back to their homes. But for now, it is still just in the beginning of it, although that this week also the schools started in most of the areas in the north.
Balig, thank you very much. That was journalist Balig Sladin in Tel Aviv.